Hello everyone, welcome back to another banner reaction. I'm DTM as always, a little bit late just due to some IRL stuff, but we're here with a legendary hero banner, and honestly, I have no idea what they're going to do. I believe, I talked to Joel, and I think he said we're expecting a water legendary. It has been 8 months since the last one, so it's definitely due for one, I would say. If it's water, I think Male Corrin would actually be a super perfect fit with like the Yato and stuff. But yeah, nothing else to do but to get on the way. As always, if you like the content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that jazz to help support the channel. Only takes 5 seconds to subscribe, but it truly does help out this channel a lot. And I really do appreciate all the constant support. And yeah, let us see who is it going to be. That was quick. Okay, this sounds like Fate's music. Maybe it is Male Corrin. Okay. Wait. Hinoka? Wait, Hinoka?
Yes, following my own path paid off.
Okay, first of all, this is not Male Corrin. Second of all, they really did Hinoka before Camilla. What? I'm actually really confused. Wings of Mercy 4? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, I need to take a look at that so soon. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, this banner just like became super hype for me. I see armor effectiveness, I think. Oh, that's cute with Takumi. Yeah, she comes with Deadeye, it appears. Alright. Okay, Corrin's on the banner too. Okay, sorry. Hinoka, you're great and all. I'm gonna let you finish, but Wings of Mercy 4 is like, wow. They actually, I really want to know what it's going to be. But yeah, it appears that Hinoka is going to be a fire legendary, which is really interesting. Huh. Yeah, I guess. Oh yeah, and of course we get the FEH spark. As always, I'm always going to mention it every time they do these. But yeah, Hinoka, that is not a choice. Okay, if it was going to be from Fates, I expected like 2 characters. Either Male Corrin or Camilla, right? Like, Hinoka was like far from my list of like expected candidates for legendaries for Hinoka. I thought Camilla would be first before Hinoka, if they ever do that. So, like, I don't understand this decision. I mean, it appears that Hinoka does have the Fujin Ramen Yumi, so that's pretty cool. Anyways, enough stalling. Let's go ahead and take a look at this kit, starting with the preference weapon. Enables Canto 1, that is really good. Accelerate special trigger, effective against flying and armored foes. We saw that. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants attack speed +6 to unit, deals damage equals to 20% of unit speed, including when dealing damage with AoEs, and neutralizes effects that prevent units follow-up attacks during combat, and also if unit has weapon triangle advantage, or unit speed is greater than foe speed, foe cannot counterattack. Okay, so that last part is really good. So before then, you know, we had the standard, we had slaying. Armor effectiveness is always really great. Obviously, we do have armors that nullify that, but honestly, a lot of armors these days don't. Especially in something like Summoner's Duels, where the top tier armors are basically Halloween Duma, Bridal Tiki, and Valentine's Lucina. All of those don't have armor neutralization, so obviously Hinoka would be doing very good there, and the Canto 1 would also be very good in Summoner's Duels and in Arena in general, right? Like, mobility in general is always going to be super good. So having that Canto 1 will definitely help with that, especially in Arena. You have the half NFU, the offensive half NFU, which makes sense. It's pretty necessary for offensive nukes that aren't infantry. And the interesting thing is that you get a sweep effect if you either have triangle advantage, which will be against green units, or if unit speed is greater than foe speed, which I'm going to assume she's going to be very speedy since, you know, attack speed, catch 4 and all. So yeah, I'm thinking, so just from this weapon alone, this looks really good so far. I see that her preference her preference skill is Rallying Cry. We'll get to that later. But from this kit, I think she's going to be a very strong nuke just from this. The true damage obviously will help with that nuking capabilities. Having Slaying helps ensure Deadeye gets procced a lot easier. And yeah, it's going to be looking to be pretty strong. Now, unfortunately, I don't think you can get Deadeye even if you attack twice unless the opponent hits you. So you probably need some sort of special acceleration or reduced cooldown support in order to consistently proc Deadeye, or just bring like dual Crom or something. But yeah, very interesting. Okay, enough about that though. The real star of the show is Wings of Mercy 4. What is this? Inflicts defense res -3 on foe during combat. Okay. If unit is within three spaces of an ally, and that ally's HP is less than or equal to 99%, unit can move to a space adjacent to that ally. If unit's HP is less than or equals to 60%, unit can move to a space within 2 spaces of that ally. Oh my gosh, they actually did it. Whoa, what? Oh, this is actually insane. What? Okay. So, okay, this is actually huge because a lot of units with solo conditions, one of the things I was talking about with OG Edelgard's Refine is that her Raging Storm effect has a solo condition, and therefore, in order to actually make use of her triple actions, you needed to proc Gale Force first and then proc Raging Storm. Because when you warp in with Wings of Mercy, normally, obviously you would be adjacent to an ally and therefore don't have that solo condition. Now with Wings of Mercy 4, that is avoided. And even outside of Edelgard and solo conditions, right? That just gives so much more flexibility to units. There are a lot of clears that I do in Aether Raids that, I can't get the Wings of Mercy beacon in the exact place they need to be in order to be a good warp point for a lot of units. But expanding that range from 4 tiles, because, adjacent 4 sides, to basically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, to 12 tiles, potentially. The 2 on all 4 sides and the 4 diagonal, so 8 plus 4 is 12. That just gives so much more flexibility for the clear, and actually impacts Gale Force so much. Now, obviously, this is the follow-up, and so I don't think this will make I don't think Wings of Mercy 4 will change the ceiling of the type of maps you can clear with your Gale Force team. Because I think for skilled players, most of the time, the warping to just adjacent tiles is good enough to consistently clear most of the matches that you would be able to Gale Force things. But Wings of Mercy 4 does make it a lot more flexible and a lot more easier on that. And so I do think this will definitely lower the floor of Gale Force and make it just a lot more flexible and honestly more fun to do. This is actually huge. Oh my gosh. And obviously there will be a couple of maps that this will actually make a difference, whether or not you can clear or not with your Gale Force team, but just the flexibility and the comfort, and of course the inflicting defense res -3 on top of that is huge. Now, I don't know how useful the first category will be. If unit is within 3 spaces of an ally and that ally's HP is basically you take damage. I think this could be useful for initiators. And getting danced as a follow-up, because obviously generally it takes 2 combats to fall into Wings of Mercy range if you're running Double Fury or something like that. And so if you can position the dancer within 3 spaces of an ally, 3 spaces of where you're going to be initiating, then you can like warp in without having full WOM anymore. And so that can make it a lot easier. And honestly, for some mats, possible to initiate onto the enemy. Instead of having to do like double smite both your initiator and the dancer in. Obviously, this doesn't really matter for Cav dancers like Hatari Azura because they have 3 range anyways. But still, like, for, not all dancers, not everyone has Hatari Azura or Dual Sigurd. And sometimes you can't run them because of like limited unit slots, and therefore you have to do a Mythic Dancer, which are all, either Plumeria or Peony, which have movement range of 2. So theoretically, extending their range to 3 with this is absolutely amazing. And I would definitely say Plumeria or Peony for a Gale Force player would be the first option to put this in, to fodder this unit for. Because again, this can make it so that you don't have to smite in your dancer in order to dance them to get that second combat to fall into WOM range. Instead, they can rely on that first clause to just warp in, dance, and then get that second combat. And so, yeah, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, do refer to my Gale Force guide. I talk about that a lot in depth. And in the demo, if, say, Plumeria, during the demonstration section of it, if Plumeria had Wings of Mercy 4 instead of Wings of Mercy 3, she can just, like, dance Thor without needing to get repoed in by Reagan. That's what I mean about, like, not having to smite in a dancer for that second initiation. And obviously that allows that unit to not be a smite bot and have their, like, action available for the follow-up. So that is really huge. So yeah, Wings of Mercy 4, oh my goodness, this is amazing. Okay, what is Rallying Cry? At start of turn, if unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants special cooldown charge +1 per attack during combat to unit and allies within 2 spaces of unit for 1 turn. Okay, so there's a special acceleration. All right, Deadeye will be consistent as long as you double. That's good. And grants charge to unit and flying allies within 2 spaces of unit for 1 turn. Okay. That is really good. That is really good. This is basically any flyers, so even range flyers, it looks like. Wow, that is actually really good. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a good unit. Also inflicts speed def res -5 on infantry, armored, and cavalry foes within 3 rows or 3 columns center on unit during combat. Okay, so yeah, Rallying Cry is basically like the map gimmick in Conquest during Hinoka's map. I haven't played Fates, but I do know the Conquest, like at least the Conquest route relatively well. And yeah, this is going to be very huge in Summoner's Duels. Obviously in Arena, this will be very good because again, having mobility, even if it's just 2 flyers, is always going to be super nice. And at the very least, you are getting special cooldown charge +1 support, which is super underrated. Like Gnaw is actually super good unit because she can provide that. And here we have this on a unit that actually has good combat. So obviously this is going to be very strong. And not only that, giving charge and debuffing the foes is really good as well. So yeah, overall, I really like this unit, actually. I mean, most of that is for Wings of Mercy 4, but still, like, oh my goodness, I'm actually so excited for that. You have no idea. Yeah, and there you see the Kanto one. And honestly, that's often all the Kanto you need. And yeah, I should have saw that, honestly. But yeah, Wings of Mercy 4. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe that happened. Alright, let's take a look at... Let's review this banner. Alright, let's see here. So for red, which is obviously supposed to be the star, we have Hinoka, Ophelia, and Nana. Nana is Earth, so honestly, Fire and Earth sharing is pretty good. And Ophelia, as a rearmed, obviously has Special Spiral 4 fodder, which I know a lot of people did go for during AHR. And so probably has like a lot of infantry skills fodder to Ophelia for use. And so with this, you can like extend that foddering strategy to even more units. So obviously having more rearmed fodder is always really good. And Fire and Earth sharing, obviously different seasons. Legendary Nana, I think, is super underrated. No one really talks about her anymore, but she is still very good and very strong, even in Arena, especially in Arena and in Summer's duels. And so, yeah, this pairing, I think, is really good. So, yeah, red overall is looking pretty, very strong. Now, in blue, we have Sita, Myrrh, and who else? Alfred. Okay, so Alfred honestly sort of like is dragging down this color. Like, remember when everyone freaked out about Self-Improver giving like plus 20 defense and then Alfred's just not a good unit? Like, I've seen so many tweets about like, oh no, Alfred's going to cause people to uninstall or something. And like, yeah, he didn't. Yeah, that was a wild moment in Fae player base history, I guess. But yeah, Alfred, unfortunately, I don't think is that valuable of rearmed units, especially compared to Ophelia. Like, cavalry units just don't have a lot of fodder options. Obviously, if you do have a lot of fodder on your Alfred, this could be very good. But I don't think it's as good as Ophelia. But yeah, Myrrh and Sita, I believe they're water and either water earth or water wind. But either way, they do have difference, so that's a pretty good share, but just dragged down by Alfred. Now in green, we have Sather, Dagger, and Robin. And honestly, this is a pretty good share. Like, Sather, Astra Mythic, Dagger, Light Mythic, and Robin, obviously super strong unit and an Earth Legendary. So you have like 3 separate seasons, and both of the AR ones, all of the Mythics are offense, and they're covering both. So honestly, if you're like looking to get mythic merges just starting out, this is a very good. Now I know Dagger hasn't exactly aged that well as an offense mythic, but she still holds her own pretty well, and Pathfinder can be useful in cases. So yeah, green honestly looks really good. Colorless, we have Micaiah, Corin, and Alencia. I believe Micaiah is wind as well. I know Corin is wind. I know there was a lot of people confused about that because people thought Corin would have been water. And she turned out to be wind. Yeah, Micaiah is also wind. So honestly, I don't think colorless share is that good. You aren't really aiming for 2 of the same season for legendaries, so that is a bit redundant. Corin, unfortunately, has sort of fallen off, is waiting for her remix, and Micaiah I don't think is particularly that good, especially in Arena. And Alencia, the best thing she offers is the fodder she gives. Like, the star of her banner was Lucia, not Ascended Alencia. So yeah, colorless is definitely the dud, I guess, of this batch. But other than colorless, like, I do think all of these other colors are actually very good shares. Like, this is a really good banner, actually. I really like that a lot. So yeah, I'd say red, blue, green is the strongest. Which one is the best really depends on what you're going for, obviously. I think it's a toss-up between red or green. Green if you're more focused on AR, red if you're more focused on either Arena or getting Ophelia merges. But yeah, enough about talking about the banner. What about Hinoka herself? Well, we do have the fire tier list that I have. Just to go over this very briefly, I don't think anyone will argue that Shez is right now the top fire legendary. Just super strong nuke, one of the best nukes. Go watch Oblivion's nuke tier list for a rundown on why she's so good. But yeah, effective against everything with Brave. Pretty good. On next to the Ace, we have the units that I think still hold their own very well. Eitri, still a very solid nuke, and especially in Arena with that Kanto 2, just provides so much mobility support, is really good. Lilina, obviously AoE nuke, very strong, and has Trace, can run Trace. Unfortunately, obviously for max scoring, you can't really run that on the B, but still, her range enables you to force the AI to rally traps and all that. And honestly, I still think holds her own pretty well. And then Xander, I do think is underrated for Arena. Like, again, Kanto is really good. And so having that as a Cav nuke is really great. And he is deceptively strong, like, actually. Next, we have the Bs. We have Legendary Marth. Not exactly the greatest in Arena, but obviously super strong God Sword. Cecilia, no, not Cecilia, Celica got a very good remix, and so is a very solid nuke as well. And Ephraim, again, Kanto is just super strong, even though he doesn't really hit the hardest, still holds her own. And then in C, we do have Legendary Edelgard. Now, unfortunately, in Arena specifically, I don't think Legendary Edelgard is like that amazing, because you either have to sacrifice score in order to run like her optimal kit, or you have to have an armored support with like armor march in order for her to get the mobility to make use of her actual niche. But in something like Aether Race, I actually do think she is very strong as well. But this is a legendary tier list and is mainly focused on Arena, so yeah, she's gonna get C. Same thing why I put Legendary Hector here. Yeah, and then Roy, definitely I would say is not the greatest. So yeah, where do I put Hinoka? Honestly, okay, this might be a bit presumptuous of me, and I don't normally like do this, but I do think Hinoka is an S tier. Like, I think she has a lot going for her. Like, just this charge support and this acceleration support is really good, just as in itself. But being a flyer, with Kanto, is really strong. Now, unfortunately, she can't run Guidance 4, which is really unfortunate because her C slot is locked. So that is something to keep in mind. And honestly, depending on how well her matchups go, she might fall down to A. But I do think she has enough going for her that she is either probably going to be S. She's definitely nowhere near as good as Shez. Far from it. Which is why, honestly, let's put her in the middle of the pack. I think that's better. Yeah. She's either going to be S or A depending on her combat, but I do think her support is really nice. And the Kanto one definitely really, really helps a lot with mobility and all that. And honestly, this might be just me being charmed by Wings of Mercy 4. Like, this is the Wings of Mercy 4 banner for me. I am so excited for that. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed this analysis. Sorry it was a bit late. Again, was very busy this weekend. Happy Memorial Day, I guess. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed the reaction and analysis. Do let me know what your thoughts on Legendary Hinoka is and whether or not you're going to be pulling for her. And yeah, if you do enjoy the content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that jazz to help support the channel. Only takes 5 seconds to subscribe, but it truly does help out this channel a lot, and I really do appreciate all the content support. And yeah, hope you all have an amazing rest of the day, and see you all next time. Bye, everyone.